Okay. All right. So we've got Canva training workshop. I am Wendy Margolin, and I own a social media marketing agency, and we focus on supporting just clinicians. So speech therapists, PTs, OTs, lactation consultants, and physicians. We focus just on healthcare. All right, so today we are talking about Canva. So why Canva matters. So to me, Canva makes me super excited because I think it's fun. I like the creative side to it. But before there was Canva, anyone who needed anything designed, what did you have to do? You had to hire a graphic designer. Now, there's still a place for graphic designers for many, many things. But Canva basically made graphic design super easy and super accessible to everybody. Together with social media, a small business owner, a small practice owner, a solo provider, raise your hand, put a hello in the chat if you are a one man or one woman show, you're doing everything by yourself. I see you, I hear you. We have all been there, and I can completely relate. And I'm sure everybody in here, even if you've built up a team or you're part of a team, you can relate to having to do a ton all by yourselves. So pat yourself on the back. But what has happened with Canva is that you really have access together with social media to reach anybody, anywhere on your own. So I love that about Canva. What can Canva do for you? So I'm sure you guys have played in there a little bit, but for anyone who hasn't played too much in there, just to give you an idea, Canva is primarily what we're going to be talking about today with social media posts. I'm going to check the chat in case we got, I've got some raised hands. I just want to make sure you guys can see. And sometimes this chat is real funny. Okay. All right. We're good. Okay. So Canva we're going to primarily be talking about social media social media posts, but you can also create videos, animation, your practice forms, think checklists, or schedules, worksheets, brochures, logos. And if you see in the middle, those are my two girls. One of them just went away for her gap year abroad yesterday. So that is clearly an old photo. But for my older daughter on her 18th birthday, my younger daughter there in the purple made her a t-shirt. She made it on Canva, ordered it on Canva, and it came to our door in about 3 days. So you can even make swag, personal or for your practice or business. Pretty much anything you ever want to make that has print, design, images, you can make on Canva. So I love that about Canva. Okay, I promised you guys a carousel template for joining live. So I am going to, let me just exit out so I could copy that for you guys and put it in the chat. I'll put it in there a few times if people missed it, but this is your gift for joining live. I know how busy you guys are, so I totally appreciate people that take the time to be here live and show up. I know that you'll get more out of it, and you'll also have a chance to ask questions. Okay. And also at the end, besides the Q&A, just for fun, and if you have seen these before, because I have used these before, I thought about redoing it, but I was like, you know what, we all have a lot to do, so I didn't redo it. So if you know the answer, don't cheat. But just to show you some fun things you can do in Canva, and by the end of this, you'll know how to do it. Which background is real? Okay, so there's one photo of me that was an actual photo, and I cut myself out and put myself in front of different backgrounds. This comes in really handy when you have maybe done a photo shoot or something in a bunch of different positions. You could be in front of any old wall or anywhere, and you can change the background to other things. All right, so if you have a guess, put in the chat. I'll show it one more time. Which one you think is real? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And at the end, I will let you guys know which one is real. We got guesses all over the place. Okay, I think that's fun. All right, so I want to ask you, just turn off distractions if you're able. I know I've been to so many webinars, Zoom workshops, and meetings, and we all kind of look back and forth, but I'm telling you, this is one that's very visual. So I'm going to try and go over a bunch of stuff. And if you pay attention, you will save time later. So quickly, just a few Canva stumbling blocks, and we're going to dive in and I'm going to show you a bunch of things. So the first would be not getting Canva Pro. I recommend Canva Pro. I will show you the difference between the two. If you're totally new to Canva, don't start with it. But if you are using it a lot, then you're probably going to want Canva Pro. It's definitely going to give you a lot more access to a lot more features. And this is what's most important, time-saving tools. All right, number 2 Canva stumbling block would be starting from scratch with every design. That's not only not great for your branding because it makes everything maybe look really cool, but then it doesn't look like you. It doesn't start to build a reputation where someone can look at a glance of an eye and know that it's your practice or your healthcare business. So it takes more time, and it's also harder to make that look consistent. And the third thing is just trying to make everything perfect. Making your designs perfect will take forever. And most of what you create, besides the print things, are really only going to last for a little bit. So done is better than perfect. That's kind of my mantra in work and in life, but especially with using Canva. Okay, so just to make it clear to you guys, the difference between pro and free, because I always get this question. So you'll see kind of on the inside, but the biggest thing I would say, besides just the access to more features, are removing the background, which is what I did to use that to make those different backgrounds with those graffiti walls, and resizing your designs. So if you're switching a lot between different sizes, then that's also a really convenient thing. The educational one, I think that is pro. I'm pretty sure that one is a version of pro. They just actually make it, and I'm glad you brought this up, Katie. I'm pretty sure they make it free or really cheap for if you are in education. So that is the pro version. You're getting access to everything, I believe. I'll double check that when we get off. And the most important difference for me, and what I would recommend to you if you're using Canva a lot, is this one-click instant branding of your designs that I will show you. So again, if you're very new to Canva, I recommend starting out on the free. If you tend to use it a lot and you use the features like the one-click button and want more photos, more templates, you're resizing, you want to remove the background, those kind of things, it's worth it to get the pro version. Okay. So next one, and like I said, just to remind you, done is better than perfect. All right, so now that I have introduced Canva, I'm going to quickly introduce myself, and then we'll dive in. So I'm Wendy, I'm from Chicago. I've been doing social media marketing, communications, and writing for over 20 years. Those 4 people over there on my left are my kids, and when I'm not working and not parenting, I prefer to be on my cargo bike when it's nice out, which is now in Chicago. If you come to one of my workshops in the winter, I'll probably complain to you about the weather, but summer here is beautiful. So that's a little bit about me. If you're watching, I would love to connect on social media. So on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you're at, take a screenshot, let me know that you're here, and tag me on Instagram. I'm at wendy.margolin, and all my content is about supporting you as clinicians in your marketing, trying to make it easier. And I really do my best to be in touch if you have specific questions to try and help you. And so what I really want you to know is that I'm going to teach you how to get more success out of Canva and use that for your social media marketing to reach more people, have a bigger impact. And I want marketing to be part of just the day-to-day things that you do in your business, not something necessarily that's separate and like this extra piece of work. I want it integrated into what you're doing, and that can make it a lot less work and a lot easier. All right, I need to exit out of this just to grab this link here. And I want to invite you guys to a Facebook group where I do answer lots of questions, lots of weekly training and all that jazz. And we share content and support each other. So check out that Facebook group. If you're on Facebook, you're welcome to join there. All right, where are we going from here? I'm going to show you how to set up colors and fonts in Canva, how to set up folders so that you save your designs, because we really use it a lot. It gets pretty messy in there. How to create templates you can use each time, and some fun Canva tricks, and a Q&A, and how I can help you if you're interested in getting some more support. Okay, so take notes here or screenshot this slide. These are templates that I recommend you set up to start when you're doing social media. So one is a quote template, right? One is a testimonial template. That is the image you're seeing on the right. If you don't know exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about these different templates, like these slides, you'll see more when we dive into Canva. But what you should set up is like, what are the basics that you're just going to consistently use in social media? That would be a quote. That would be a testimonial. That would be a way to display images. Sometimes maybe you just post the image, but it doesn't work so well on Instagram, especially now. You need a little more than just an image, unless you're like an influencer, which most of us aren't here. So you need a little more than an image to grab attention. So some words over an image, a way to kind of frame the image to show your branding, show your practice. A text-based type of template. I'll show you what I mean by that, but these are really great. The text-based and the carousels, so the sliders, like I gave you in the chat, I posted it, and I will post it again at the end of a carousel. Those are two ways to be able to list a lot of your expertise. So this morning, for example, for a client, I created a carousel where we talked about the different kinds of tests for COVID-19, when you should use what, rapid versus PCR versus home test. So that we did that in a carousel. So you don't have to just put your content in the text part, the caption part of the post. You could also display it in this interesting slider. And those are really great for clinicians for education. So carousels and like lists. So kind of like heavy text based. Okay, so let's dive into Canva. I'm just going to check the chat, make sure we're good in there. Okay, post your questions in the chat so I make sure that I see. And I am going to go into here. All right, can you guys just give me a thumbs up in the chat if everyone can see my homepage of Canva? I think there's like a little bit of a delay. Yeah, all right, we're good. Okay, everyone sees. Cool. All right, thanks for the feedback. And just check if you're all still here. All right, so here we are. This is the homepage of Canva. Your homepage is going to look different in the same way that your social media feed will look different. It's based on your behavior. If it's your first time in, what you will see down here, instead of recent designs like I have, you will see a ton of options for the kind of designs that you can make. Canva tends to be pretty overwhelming because there's a crazy amount of things that you can do. So the reason that I want you to start here is to take away the overwhelm, to save you time, and to make yourself look better. All right, who doesn't need to save time? So over here in the left bar is you've got a bunch of options. Now, the brand kit, if you're not seeing it, it might be because you still have the free version. You can get away without having a brand kit. You would just need to like maybe kind of create one in a Google Doc, maybe some notes on your phone or something like that. So you still want to set up your brand, even if you don't go with Pro and have this brand kit. But I'm going to show you what this brand kit, this is where I always start with Canva. So what happens when you have a brand kit is these are my brand colors. I've got other groups of colors for other clients and other people where I create their content. So if you had like different lines of colors within your practice, your healthcare business, maybe you would have a few different groups of brand colors. I recommend one. Keep it simple if you can. So these are where you add your brand colors, and these are where you can add your branded fonts, and this is where you can add your logo. So I'm going to show you how to choose this if you don't already have things that are branded. Now, if you do have branded colors, like you had a graphic designer create a style guide or something for you, then you can literally just press the plus sign and type in whatever your brand colors are, your brand fonts. You could drag them into here where I've uploaded fonts. You could do that. That's if you have a brand kit. I'm assuming most of you don't. So I'm going to show you how to choose your own. All right. So the way I recommend doing that is you'll go back to your home and you will create a new design. So you'll click on create a design. I always recommend starting with an Instagram post. Even if you don't use Instagram, the perfect square for Instagram will look good on all channels. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. The Facebook also has a square size, but it's not going to look good on Instagram. It's going to like cut off some things in the corners. So I always recommend starting with the 1080 by 1080. That is the size for all of my designs. Sometimes if you want to get fancy, you could do a 4x5 design. So there are other options, but if you want to keep it simple, I recommend doing the Instagram size. All right, so the way I recommend picking colors and fonts, if you've never done this before, is to search in the templates. So just quickly to go over this, you've got templates here, you've got tons with the free and many more with the pro. Elements are backgrounds and lines, shapes, graphics, photos, videos, charts, like literally everything under the sun. You could search in here, you will find in the elements. These are the things that make your designs interesting. Uploads are things that you've uploaded into here. So you just drag them in here. Text is obviously text if you want to add text. Styles, I'm going to save that to show you in a minute. Audio, I don't use this too often, but I have used it when I make a video. Video, you've got tons of stock videos you can use, and you've even got GIFs in here, or GIFs, however you want to call it. So but back to choosing colors. Yes, this app is free. I just want to answer that question quickly. There is a free version and a pro version. Canva.com. Okay, and speaking of it, I recommend using the desktop version and not the app. The app is just not nearly as good on my phone. I use it a little bit if I have to, but it's not great. It works much better on desktop. So that is that. All right, so if you are going to choose colors and fonts for the first time, what I recommend is starting with the templates. Pick one of those ones that I listed for you guys, quotes, testimonials, things like that. Pick something that you like. This doesn't really matter. We're not necessarily making your final templates, but pick something that you want. And then from there, what you can do is play with this to find colors and fonts that you like, okay? And have in mind, so there's always this balance between it being, especially if you are a solo provider or you are the main person behind your practice, if people are coming to you or someone who works for you because of your reputation. So there's always this balance of it reflecting your personality. You have to like it. It has to be something that's, unique to you, but then also where your audience can see themselves in it. So if you are trying to attract business people or children, you're going to want to think about, or parents of children, you're going to want to think about who your audience is in your colors and your fonts. Do you want it to be like a little bit more conservative? Do you want it to be a little more fun? Do you need it to be like for millennials? So it's like more hip, whatever it is. So you want to keep that in mind, but you really also, it's okay to have this reflect yourself as well. You definitely matter in what this ends up looking like, because this is yours, your social media channels, your designs, that is your digital home for your practice or business. So you do want to like it. Okay. So choosing colors. So the way I like to start with this is to go into styles. And what you can do here is I've already set up my brand colors, but if you have not, or maybe you have and you want new ones, you can click on this right here, colors, and it's going to show you all of these options. So what I like about these options is that it's already been designed by designers, that these are things that go together. And so I like to start from these and then work from there to make it mine. So let's say since I was a kid, I've always kind of loved like this turquoise, so like pick out something that you like, and then from there, just work with it. So this is what I was talking about, that magic button that's only in Pro. Like, to me, this is absolutely worth the $9.99 a month or something. So what you can do is you can play with these. Again, we're not working on this particular design. We're just working on colors that you like together. Okay, so let's say you like this, but I don't know, this is kind of dark, so I want to lighten that. I can go there to this plus, and you could play around with it like that. Okay, let's say I'm into purple. I'm actually really not, but let's say I am. Okay, now let's say I really like all of these colors. I'm happy with it. But you'll play with it. You do this once, right? That's the point, that this could take some time, but it's okay to spend time on choosing your brand colors once. What you don't want to do is do this every single time, because A, your designs won't look consistent, but B, it's a waste of your time. You don't have time for that. All right, so what happens when you do that is that you can actually take these colors and build your own brand kit. So I'm just going to click on this, double click on that color up here, this square. I'm going to click on the plus. This is the exact code of that color that I have chosen. So I'm going to go back to my brand kit. You would be starting from scratch. So you would just add a plus, you would paste it in there, and boom, now I've got that color in my brand kit. You'll do that for every color you have. You could keep it simple, 4 colors, 5 colors. I don't know. I've seen people do 2. I find that if you do 2 to 3 colors, sometimes your designs start to look a little boring. It's nice to have at least like a couple accent colors. So I really like having 5. That leaves you a lot of options in your brand kit. And so you're going to do the same thing for the fonts. So you're going to go back here. So one option is colors and one is fonts. These are my fonts. So you'll see how that magic button works, right? Like I can just click it and then boom, it's right there into my design. But these are already fonts that work nicely together. So what I like about this is that you already know from designers that this one looks nice with this one. Caveat looks nice with a mully black. Now let's say I don't love this combination. What this tells me is that if I really like Caveat, I need to find a different font from this, but say I don't like the mully black. What this tells me that they're already combined is that any other font that's a sans serif means that doesn't have these little lines at the end, like here. This is a serif font, and then this is a sans serif font, right? So it's a little simpler. The serif fonts tend to be like a little more, I'd say, I don't know, like classic fonts, sort of that you'd see in a textbook or something. So to me, sans serif fonts or serif fonts tend to look a little more serious. But what this tells me is, let's say I didn't like that mully black. Okay, I can make it Montserrat. Okay, so you see what I'm doing there? So once you've chosen fonts you like, then you're going to go back to your brand kit and you will enter it right in here. So I got to move the chat so I could see. And you can put anything you want in here. So the reason I like to work from a design the way I showed you is that just scrolling through here is super overwhelming. You've got so many issues. Like I'm only on the L's. So that's why I do it that way. All right, now once you have your brand colors, then anytime you create any design, you could go back to these styles and make anything in your brand kit. So that those are branded. If you click multiple times, it'll change it. You could change like just the one color in the back. Let's say I didn't want the dark, I could go like that. But basically it's really fast. And you can change the fonts, all that. Okay. So what you're going to do after you've chosen your colors and your fonts is to make templates. Now, I said before the templates that you should have, those would be testimonial templates, especially when you're a clinician. If you can't use specific quotes from someone, usually you could use a quote from someone and just not their name. It depends on your industry. But even in cases like I've worked with skilled nursing, I've worked with physicians, we still do testimonials. We just have a legal HIPAA compliant signed form. But if you are a therapist, then obviously you're not using testimonials of people's names, but you could use their words, right? So you'll still have some testimonials, just less if you are a mental health therapist. But most of you can post testimonials. So you'll want that. You want quotes, you want ones with images, and you want ones with lists and carousels. Now, I already gave you the carousel one, and I will post it in the chat. You know what? Let me just post everything in the chat for you guys again, just so that you have it. I know some of you joined late. So this is a link to Canva Pro, as well as the free templates for you guys joining me here. Okay, so that is how you create that. So you're going to create your templates. You'll make one you like. Let's say I was happy with this one. Then you can add a page, right? So I press this button right here. Oh, that one's to duplicate, or you could press this button to add a page. And from there, you're going to create the several templates that I mentioned. So you could have a couple of quote ones, one or two, whatever you want. You could have a testimonial one. So I like to start from here and then work off of some of the designs that are in here. You can mix and match, pull elements from different places. Let's say I like that. Then go back, use my one button to make it in my design, whatever it is, play around. And you're going to do that with all of your templates. So the quotes, the testimonials, the image ones. And once you've created several that you like and are all on brand, what you're going to do now is you're going to click on these three dots in the corner and then type in template. And you're going to click on template and you are going to save it. I have a bunch of folders because I use this all the time, but if you don't have one, you'll create new and you'll name your folder, whatever your business name is. Now, what happens is that every time you go to create a design, once you've put that in a folder for a template, is you can go into your folder. So I'm going to pull up one of my folders. Here are all your folders. I've got a bunch. And here is what I've got. I'm going to show you guys around this so I could just give you an example, but these are the templates that I create for people, clinicians who are in my club for social media. So I have a clinician social media club. These are the templates, and I'm going to show you. So if you had templates from yourself or made from someone else, whatever it is, what happens is, if you want to go back and change the original ones, maybe you got kind of tired of the quote one, you want to change it, and so you have something totally different, you can go to edit original. But most times what you're going to do is you will go into Canva and you will open up this. So use this template. And what happens when you use this template, excuse me, is over here. Okay. So what happens when you use this template is that you're not changing your original design, but it's already set out in your branding, and your designs. You're not spending forever starting a design from scratch. Okay, so let's say you had a design, you're gonna quickly like change it to your colors. Presumably it would already be in your colors because you have already created these for your brand, but you could change it, right? And then you can change the quote. You could change one color at a time and make it totally different so that it looks different each time. You could get rid of these, you could add a different texture, things like that. All right, I'm going to show you a couple different like trendy Canva tricks so you guys know how to do this. So if you are a total beginner, don't let yourself get overwhelmed by the Canva tricks. You can like watch this later. I will give you the replay and then you could review those later. But I do want to show you a few of the really kind of trendy Canva tricks that people have been using a lot now, especially on Instagram. Okay, so I did see someone said, how do you put like different colors in the background? So different colors in the background. There are so many ways to do that. One would just be to go in the elements and search for like a gradient background. So I'm going to search for gradient. Oh, actually, I think it's ENT. And here you've already got multiple colors. If you want to be able to have it be a gradient that's like actually a graphic though, where you can set the colors yourself, you've got to choose one that is a graphic and not a photo. But let me just show you for this one. So I'm going to take off that layer there. I just deleted that and I just added this over just to show you guys how you would make the same design look totally different. Okay, so I just made this bigger. I put it over. I'm going to click on position and I'm going to move it back so it's where I want it. And now it's in the back. And then I am going to if you're happy with it like that, you could leave it, but you could also lighten it up. And you see how it made that pink look different. Now, let's say I don't love that. I want something else. One thing that I like doing a lot lately is paper green. I just did this morning for a clinician. Oh, actually, it was textured paper. So these are pretty cool. Do you see how that looks completely different, right? Brick. Right? So you can make these look really, really different just with having a different background in the back. Okay, this was the carousel, the slider I showed you. The sliders are very common on Instagram and also on LinkedIn if you guys use LinkedIn. So sliders are things where you literally slide your finger and it's got different images and text on each one. On LinkedIn, you would save it, believe it or not, as a PDF, which is usually a print document, and you would upload it to LinkedIn like a document. And on Instagram, you would add it as a ping, PNG, or a MP4, which would be a video if you had like some moving arrows or something. Okay, and I will make sure that I go over how to download it as different files. So what I just mentioned here was to download something as a ping. That would be, you can pick. So what I did, I clicked on download. Then you've got a lot of different options. I like ping. JPEG is kind of pretty much the same. Ping lets you download something with a transparent background. But so I just automatically always use ping. It's also a higher quality. And PDF is what I talked about if you were doing a LinkedIn carousel. And then MP4 would be for video. Okay, so the way you would do that is you click the kind of file you want to download. It's going to download all of these, and I don't want all of these. Let's say I was just downloading the carousel because I had finished the design. I would just check the ones I want and click download. So that's how you download stuff. All right, I want to show you how to make a person with the background cut out, because this is something that people do a lot of times on their designs. Let's say that you are a you want to welcome a new member to your practice or group, right? So you've got this photo, it's maybe against like a busy background or not even really a fun background. You can add a photo to your design. So I'm going to delete her. And I'm going to go to, you would either just upload, drag the photo into here, or let's say you've already got full photos, you would pull it up from your folder that's listed over here. So I'm going to do one of me. Here we go. And I'm going to move myself there. And then from there, I'm going to go to effects. Okay, so there are two things that I use all the time in effects. I'm going to show you both of them now. One is the background remover. Literally, it is one click. And what is so cool about this is that in Photoshop, this takes forever. I have a background in graphic design, and I did this. I worked in Photoshop, Adobe Illustrator, and InDesign for years. And the fact that you can press that button like magic and get rid of your background is crazy. I mean, it's sometimes you get a headache having to trace perfectly around you with the mouse and cut out the whole background. Now, I'm glad this worked out this way because it actually isn't perfect. So I'm going to show you what I can do there. I can change my brush size. So it's basically changing like the size of my pencil eraser. I'm going to make it a little bigger, and I'm going to show you that you can just go there and make this perfect. All right, now we've done it. I'm going to press down, and that I just love that. So I'm going to move myself there because my photo cuts off there. Okay, so what's cool about this is that it saved me forever. It saved a ton of time. The other thing I mentioned to you guys that I do two things a lot in effects. So that's one of them is the background remover. The other thing is that I will go to here. This is something, I don't know if you guys remember, but before that woman who was pointing, there was like a white line around her. So I'm going to show you how that is done. So that is done with the Duotone. So Duotone makes your design into two colors. Right now it's three colors. That's typically what we use on anything digital, RGB. It's a combination of all these these colors, but Duotone makes it just two. So I'm going to make, actually, I'm going to copy myself. All right, now there's two of me. I'm going to make this one duotoned. So now I'm red. And I'm going to click on these buttons right here. Okay. And then I'm going to make this white. You could make it any other color. You could make it one of your brand colors. You know what? Let's do that because that'll be cool. There we go. Now there is the second one of me. I'm going to make it a little bigger. I'm going to adjust it, and I'm going to position it backward. And there you go. That is that rim around the back that you guys saw before. Both those things are really common on Canva. Okay, so I showed you a lot of things. I want to show you just two more, and then I'm going to start to answer questions. One thing that I find really useful is this. Do you see how I'm clicking on this and I'm trying to move it and it won't? It's because it's locked. So when you have a lot of layers, this lock button is really handy. So just to give you, that was a duplicate button. Okay, just to give you an example. So when it was locked, if I were to change my styles to my colors, it's not this little piece here. First of all, now it's in the wrong spot, and it's not on my colors. So I have to unlock it. And now I have access to different colors. So now if I press this button again, now it's going to be my brand colors, and I can swap these around. And then once you're happy with it, lock it again. So I like that lock button. It makes designing easier. If you want to grab a few things, you're not going to grab also that background. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, so that's the lock button. I really like that. The other button I want to show you is word effects. type effects. So this is actually the same font as this. The difference up here is it's all caps, but also it's got this effect. You click on effects and then you've got different effects that you can do to that design. Okay. So that is another one that is really cool, used a lot. You could also animate it. Remember before I said sometimes that you would want to download your design as an MP4. This all of a sudden is animated. That's going to make it something you want to download as an MP4 so that it has the animation effect that you chose. Okay, and then the last thing is that Canva lets you schedule posts. Now, this is very new. It's not perfect. I anticipate it to improve a ton. It started in the spring, so it's still pretty new. But if you want to create all of your content, maybe like a week ahead, 2 weeks, a month ahead, you could sit down for, a couple hours or have someone on your team or a virtual assistant, whomever, sit down for a couple hours and you can schedule the posts using this. So you could say what date you want it to go up and what channel and all of that. Okay, I covered a lot here. I know. I'm going to make sure that I go into the Q&A in a minute, but I just want to take you back to fill you in on a couple things before we go in the Q&A. Okay, so those of you guys that stayed on in the beginning, I showed you which background is real. I saw a bunch of guesses in there. And the answer is, if you guessed number 4, you are correct. Okay, so these are all the same photo of me, but 4 is the original. And now that I have shown you how to remove the background, you know exactly how I did that. Just a note about removing the background. What's important is that the original photo number 4 was taken outside. So it would look weird, obviously, because I'm in a coat, but also just the lighting. It works better if you have similar lighting in the original photo as the one you're trying to match it to if you want it to look real. Okay, so at this point, before I get into questions, I want to let you know, I showed you for a minute there some of those templates. You guys are invited to the Clinicians Social Media Club. What that is that I deliver monthly Canva templates every single month to members of the club, along with the actual captions. So these are, you can see how you can customize the templates to be your own. You'd make them your own colors. You could change the people on them. You can change the backgrounds. You can change the fonts. So you make them your own. And I give you captions that are written for clinicians. So when there's a healthcare hashtag holiday, a hashtag month, next month in September, there are 18, if you can believe it or not, I have written social media posts and they match with the Canva slides. So just to give you a brief understanding before we jump into the Q&A, because I know there are a bunch of questions about Canva specifically, what you get with this is each month you get engaging fill in the blank social media captions written by me. I've been writing healthcare content for over 10 years and I've been writing for 20. So I've written the social media captions for you. You just fill in the blank with your subject matter expertise. And I match them up with customizable Canva templates. You get different ones to grab your audience's attention. I keep up with the trends so you don't have to. And you match them up together with the captions. I also give you ways to use the healthcare hashtag holidays for that month. And I include 30 hashtags every time there's a healthcare hashtag holiday. That's included with the post. It's got the emojis, it's got all that stuff. And I deliver an explainer video for how to use them. So this is a way that you could basically take a lot of the load off of social media in a really affordable way. So I just want to show you what that looks like. These are the Canva templates. These were in August. Oh, wow. They're both playing at the same time. I'm going to make you guys dizzy. Okay, so those are the Canva templates. And then I've got the captions. So there are 3 tabs. There's the month captions, and there are the hashtag social media holidays and the quotes. So depending on the month, like September has a ton of social media hashtag holidays. Then there are even more content in those months, but every month you get at least 20 captions that are written to be engaging, to promote your services, to use quotes. Instead of just like posting a quote, you actually add some of your expertise, some of your insights into that quote. Get in conversation, be social with your audience. It is social media. Get them to ask questions and also to educate them. So those are the kinds of posts that I send every month. And then I send, in addition to that, the healthcare hashtag holidays and quotes that are great for clinicians. So basically what you would do is that you would customize the social media captions so that they match your practice, your expertise, the way you would say things. Then you add your branding and style to the Canva templates, and then you can schedule it right in Canva. So that membership is $47 a month, but we also partner with a virtual assistant. I know from working with you, so many clinicians, that finding a good virtual assistant is always a really big challenge. So I partner with Canada's virtual assistant. My friend Sasha over there, she has been my virtual assistant. She is awesome, and she helps the members in my social media membership take the templates and customizes them and schedules them for you. So all you would do is fill in the blank on the captions, give her any like photos of you or people in your practice or something specific that you want to share. And then her team actually does that customization and the scheduling. So the basic plan where she does that is $175 a month. So that is basically the membership. I'm going to jump out of this and answer your questions. I'm going to put the link to join the membership in the chat. And there you go. You can check it out. You can reach out to me and ask questions. If you want to join in time to get the September captions, I will be delivering them on August 27th. So I deliver them like the week before the new month. So you have to join by next Friday if you want to be able to get those captions. Okay. All right. So I just went over so much. I'm going to scroll through. If you guys have, and I'm going to stop the share. Okay. Hi. If you guys have questions that I don't see or I somehow miss, then please put it in now. But I'm going to make sure that I show you guys. Is there a way to add a clickable hyperlink to a picture that you're posting on Facebook? So no. So Nicole asked if you could add a clickable link that you're going to post on Facebook. No, you cannot. What you could do is you can download a PDF. It has to be a PDF, and you'll do this typically with forms. It takes a lot of time. You would really only do it with a form. So you download a PDF, and then you would need like an Adobe program that does it. So certain basic Adobe Acrobat doesn't do it, and some do. So you'd have to like add the hyperlinks after, and you could have it in a document, a PDF, but not on social media. On social media, if you want to add a link, you cannot put it in the design. You could say, you put an arrow and say, click the link in the caption or something like that. You can put the arrow in the design to encourage them to click the link. Okay. Karen has Canva Pro, but no styles button. Okay. That is unusual. I will look after to see if I could find anything about that. If anyone else has seen that in there, let me know. Because I have not seen it without the styles button. Okay, so I'm just gonna scroll through, try and find your questions. Give me a minute. Okay, yes, the app is free. Is it the only player in the game? No. but they were the first. And actually, I don't know if you guys are into podcasts. I recently listened to a podcast with the founders of Canva, and it was really fun. It was from Guy Raz, How I Built This. That's a fun podcast in general. If you're interested in like founder stories of big companies, hearing about, their trials, their errors, what went right. But Canva was the first that really had this vision of democratizing graphic design. And she actually started first in helping to make yearbooks, which I just love because I was very into yearbook in high school. And that is where I first learned graphic design. So Canva started out as a yearbook program. So there are other ones, but Canva, to me, it's the most sophisticated. I'm sure more people are developing more. I have seen people use others, but it's the original and it does so much. So that's what I focus on. I showed you how to get more than one color in the background. Okay, so Deborah mentioned that she wished she had seen this offer before. She's paying $12.99 a month. You could cancel and then re-sign up and see if you get a different rate. It is a little less if you pay for the year, but you can cancel at any time. Oh, Cheryl created her brand colors while we were working together. Yes, that's awesome. And yes, I will send out a replay. Okay. When you're making Christy wants to know, when you're making a few slides for Instagram stories, do you make individual posts and load them up, or do you make something like carousel? Yes. So I do. If you want a few slides in an Instagram post, yes, you're going to do the carousel. You're going to download it as a PNG, a ping, if it's still images, or an MP4 if it is a video. But okay, here's the catch. Let's say you had like a moving arrow on one slide, and then the next slide is still, and you want it to be like a carousel. You have to still download each slide as its own MP4. If you download 6 slides as an MP4, it's going to play your carousel for you as one big video. You're not going to get separate files. All right. Checking if I have more questions. How many post captions do you get monthly with the social media club? And do you think the captions are universal enough to apply to mental health therapy? Okay, so yeah, okay. So let me just show you guys. Would that be helpful if I show you the captions, and then you can see if you think that it would apply? So I definitely have mental health therapists in the group. So absolutely. These were the captions for August. So here, let me go over here. Okay. So the way that I divide these up is that I've got 3 tabs. Let me see if I can move this. I've got like something on my screen blocking it. Okay. I've got 3 tabs. I've got the month's post, then I've got the social media, healthcare hashtag holidays. In August, there weren't so many. In September, there are a ton. And then I've got quotes. Okay, so the way I divide these up is I divide social media content into 5 categories. The acronym I use is PRICE, just because it's easy to remember. It doesn't mean anything about the captions overall, but promotional. So anytime you are including a testimonial, I would consider that a promotional post, or you're letting people know about maybe new office hours. Maybe you're adding an evening to your schedule where you're available. Those kinds of things are promotional. So I give you 2 promotional posts. Now, if you see, they're definitely written in a way that is social, right? So if you want to create content on social media, even when you are a physician, even when you are a mental health therapist, all these kinds of things, you have like a professional serious hat, but on social, keep in mind that people are there to connect with their friends and like watch cat videos. So, or whatever, fill in the blank. So you want to jump in there and be like, oh, hey, can I let you know about my office hours? Right. So that's why they're written this way in a way that grabs attention. So the first section is promotional. The second section is relatable. So you're introducing yourself, you're letting people know a story about you. Maybe it's something about something you did as a kid. So I give you sort of like a blank for you to fill in for each one. So there's 20 of these. Those are the relatable ones. Inspirational are the ones that you would use a quote for. And I tell you which slides to use in the Clinicians Club monthly templates. So for example, this one, you can pull a quote from me or your own quote. I have quotes included in here in the third tab. I can't reach it right now because there's this bar, which I'm afraid to move. It's going to like, yeah. Okay. I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to lose you guys. Okay. So I include quotes. You could get your own quote, but the idea would be this little nugget of wisdom hit me like a ton of bricks. So the quote would be in the image. You could share why it means something to you. What's your take? Leave an emoji if you can relate, right? If you're a mental health therapist, some of the differences would be you wouldn't necessarily ask people if they can relate when you're talking about anxiety, right? That's a little bit strange as a therapist, but you can always say something like DM me if you can relate, if you have questions, things like that, direct message me. So those kinds of things. A quote about overcoming an obstacle. So those are the inspirational ones. A conversational one would be asking things about things just to get them to talk back to you, right? So this seems cheesy, some of them, but having a would you rather, I like to do something really really conversational and light, especially on Fridays. People are not going to make a new appointment. They're not going to sign up for a new service on a Friday, typically, when you're a clinician. So I like to keep it light on Fridays, and those perform really well. I have clients who are writing about COVID all week long. I have clients who are doing really serious content that are still creating very sociable posts that let people trust them. So letting them in a little bit. This is not a whole workshop on social media, so I don't want to dive too deep into that. I definitely talk about that in other spaces, but letting people into the extent that you are comfortable, you don't have to go deep, but letting them know that you are a person who cares about certain things, has certain interests that helps them relate to you. When you are a mental health therapist, it's especially important, really any clinician, unless you are a super specialized clinician where people need your specific specialty over other people in your area. Most likely they are coming to you in part because of your expertise, but also because of your bedside manner. Okay. So the way that people feel when they're around you, especially if you're something like therapy or even PT, they have to spend time with you. Speech therapy. Are they comfortable? Can they connect to you? Are they someone who they just feel like comfortable being around? So that is part of social media content. I just want to get down to the educational, because that is obviously easier for clinicians. Those are just really obvious posts, but the kinds of things, if you had to guess, do you fall into this stat and you list a stat about whatever is related to your area of expertise? So anxiety, if it's something on COVID, if it's something on, maybe you have running injuries or something with speech therapy, whatever it is that you deal with, you would share a stat. Stats perform really well on social media. People tend to share them. And then that would be an educational post. So those are those. I want to actually show you the September ones. They're not done. I just started working. There are so many of them. That's why they're not done. But just for example, you'll see these are really specific to whatever industry comes up in that month's social media hashtag holiday. So in September, we've got World Alzheimer's Month. Here's signs of Alzheimer's. That would be that post. I haven't written this one yet. Let me go through, show you guys some more. Childhood obesity. I talk about obesity in the pandemic. Then you would insert your tips. So you've got a space where you insert the tips, but most of it is done for you. The hashtags are done for you. National Cholesterol Education Month, healthy aging, blood cancer awareness. Clearly these aren't all done yet, but you guys can see the gist of it. These will be done in time to go out. And that is it. Okay. All right. So okay. Someone is trying to find my group. I want to give you guys the link in, in the chat. So then you can find the group. And in the Facebook group, I am going to be giving more Canva tips for the rest of the week. I'm going to focus on this. So if you want some short videos on how to do some of those things, and if you have specific questions, I can show you how to do that as well. All right. I don't see any more questions. Do I have a specific group content for lactation and doulas or just general healthcare? Good question. So last month was breastfeeding month, and I can just show you, like, for example. So, okay. Let me pull up last month. So last month was specific about breastfeeding. So I went into that. It was also Child Eye and Safety Month. So when it's your specific month, I've got posts for you. Now, because this is written for multiple clinicians, so there are 2 posts specific to breastfeeding in there because it was World Breastfeeding Week. But what you would do if you are a, let's say, fill in the blank clinician. So I hear 3, if you could just look at this one, it's got a whole caption about what do you feel when someone tells you that you need to? Now, let's say you are a doula. So one of the big topics of conversation there would be like breastfeeding versus bottle feeding, right? So let's say that's something that comes up a lot for people you work with. So you could fill in the blank with something about that. And then you could give over 3 reasons that this can be challenging. And then you can offer tips to make it better. So you can take them and use them for whatever area of healthcare that you are in. So it definitely works for lactation consultants, doulas, PTs, OTs, physicians, the gamut. So that is it. I'm going to stop sharing. If you guys watched, I would love to just get your feedback. If you could let me know in the comments if what was particularly helpful. If you have follow-up questions, I'm happy to answer those over in my Facebook group. And if you have questions about the membership, I would love to have you in it. So definitely reach out if it's right for you. If it's not, I get you. But reach out if you have questions. And I'm just going to post those templates one more time in the chat, so I make sure that all of you guys who showed up live get it. That carousel template for you guys is right there. And there's a link to the membership, a link to the Facebook group, and a link to Canva Pro, if that works for you. Christina, and anyone else who's wondering how to get access to the replay, I will be sending this out. Once I get off, I'll have to wait for it to download, and I've got to upload it. So it'll be a little bit, but I will definitely be in touch with you guys and send you all the replay. So thank you so much for joining. Make sure to tag me on social media. Let me know that you were here. Say hi, and we'll connect and keep in touch. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. And you want the Instagram? I keep trying to go. No, I'm kidding. I'll stay on as long as you guys want. Okay, my Instagram hashtag. There you go. Or not hashtag, URL. Okay, I'm over there. So come say hi. And that's it. Have a great rest of your day. I think these are really fun. If the Canva link did not work, did it work for everyone else? Did anyone else try it? I will. Okay, it worked for Jillian. Okay, maybe try it with a different URL or a different browser. If you're on your phone, maybe try your computer or just try a little bit later. Okay, that is it. Thanks, you guys. This was fun, and be in touch.